Old love down the road can come to my house, knock on my door, say, hey, I want to live here. Look, I brought you a toaster oven. Cool, bud, but you're not coming to live in my house. I have feelings about this, and it's just... Oh. Hi friends, welcome to Lore and Lullabies. I'm Lana, and today we will be reviewing Lagoon by Nnedi Okorafor. If you like bookish content in the fantasy, sci-fi, horror, and or middle grade genres, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. My lighting is going all over the place. I'm just going to start off by saying that I really wanted to like this book. It just did not hit home for me. I have so many conflicted feelings about this book. At the start, I will be doing a spoiler-free review, and then I will be getting into the spoilers because I've got some shit I need to get off my chest. Lagoon is a sci-fi set in Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos actually means lagoon in Portuguese, I think it is. So, fun fact. At the start of the book, we follow three people. Adora. She is a marine biologist, a mum and wife to Chris. We have Anthony, who is like a world famous rapper. And we also have Agu, who is in the military. When we meet him, his face is pretty bashed up. We find out why later in the book, but they're all sort of walking from different directions and they're all going to intersect each other. As they get to each other, there's this massive sonic boom in the air, hurts their ears, throws them to the ground. As they stand up, like a 4-meter wave comes and grabs those three and drags them into the ocean, and that is where it all starts. The sonic boom comes from a meteor or a spaceship hitting into the water. Okay, I'm going to do some of this review with a cat on me. She's attacking my hair tie. Can't even take myself seriously when you're on me. Do you mind? When they all come to, there is this woman there that's not a woman. She's an alien. She introduces herself as an ambassador for the people who have come to Earth and want to reside there for the foreseeable future, forever, whatever. And then that's how the story starts. This is such a promising premise. I was really looking forward to this book. It's my first story from Nnedi, and I was so excited to read it. The prologue in this book was absolutely beautifully written. It's from the point of view of a swordfish who hears the boom and goes towards whatever it is. I thought, yes, I'm going to absolutely love this book, until about a couple of chapters in to where we meet the humans, or more humans, should I say. My favourite parts in the book were where they were written from the animals' perspective, and there was like 4 of those chapters. The pacing was easy enough to follow. I did have to reread a couple of paragraphs at the change of perspective, or if it went back in time a little bit, but it was just okay. It didn't add to the story at all. Like, it didn't keep you in it. The plot was okay. It did keep me engaged enough to make me want to keep reading to try and get to that happy ending, because there was a lot of not so happy endings for a lot of people. It just made me hate people, to be honest. We've already seen in reality last year and at the start of this year, I think, how people can behave. And to sort of read it again, I guess, I just didn't like that. It was really hard for me to get through, like, the whole of the second part, most of the third part. If this wasn't a prompt in my readathon, I would not have kept it going. I probably would have just DNF'd it. Like, I did want to get to the end to see what happened, but when I got there, I was just so disappointed. There were so many unexplained things. There was just Speaking of why it was so hard, I feel I need to let everyone know all of the content warnings and potential trigger warnings of this book. Okay, I have a list. There is rape, explicit violence, misogyny, phobia across the entire LGBTQ plus community, religious bigotry, murder of a child, rioting, domestic abuse. Did I miss anything? Think of a content warning, it'll probably be in there. Nigeria itself is portrayed as the worst possible place to be when this sort of thing happens, or in the time of a crisis. Adora, the main character, even states that it's not great even like in normal calm times. I did like that the dialogue included pidgin English. I don't speak it, so I'm not sure how accurate it is. It made it seem more authentic and like we were actually there. To begin with, it was a bit hard to get my head around, but there is a reference part at the back of the book, and with the context as well, it was pretty easy. There were a couple of words that I had to keep going back to, but as a whole it was pretty easy to understand the dialogue. I honestly didn't give two shits about the characters. Maybe Agu, the military guy, who was one of the main three, but to be honest, even the side characters I just hated. I just had no love for them whatsoever. My go-to when I don't like a character is to punch them in the throat, but I would get actually violent. I would get violent. I have feelings about this, and it's just...
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, I just did not like the characters at all. I found it hard to connect with any of them. Adora I wanted to like, but she was just so... Ugh. She makes a couple of decisions and I'm just like, I don't feel like they fit with the person that she was trying to be, or she didn't know who she was. The character development was just sloppy. There's some insta love in there and just... why? Like it didn't go anywhere. There wasn't any reason for it. It was just like, let's just randomly make out. It's just stupid. That's maybe something that you could get away with in like a YA romance. When you're young, you do stuff just cause, but like there was just no rhyme or reason for it. And to be quite frank, it pissed me off. Okay, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty of what I did and didn't like of this right now. So, spoiler here. If you're here for the spoiler review, welcome and thank you for being here this long. So firstly, why do their names all start with A? I need to know this. I don't know why, and it's just... At the start, it was a bit confusing between Anthony and Agu because their names both started with A. Maybe it's because I'm like slow or whatever, but one of them could have had a different name. It just would have made it easier to be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Not that their names are similar or anything like that, but just my head. So the first chapter, as I said, was beautiful. I was super excited. We are in the mind of a swordfish that is absolutely amazing. As she goes towards the media, they asked her what she wanted and gave it to her. That's cool, but at the end of the book, the swordfish and all of these other small and large aquatic animals and monsters are fighting them and fighting Ayodel, who is the alien, and I have no idea why. It was her people and their technology that gave you what you wanted, so why would you fight them? It just didn't make sense to me. And so much of this book didn't make sense to me. There were so many things left unanswered. And don't get me started on how every single man, but who in this book, who are the main characters, is a chauvinistic, misogynistic pig, and or they're part of a 419 like internet and phone scam. I'm pretty sure not everyone in Lagos, Nigeria is a horrible, horrible person. It doesn't even make sense. There was no layers, no depth to the men in this book at all, other than varying degrees of just nasty, sadistic fucked upness. Like, this book was really hard to read for me because I just wanted to go at them all with a machete. And then there were area boys as well, which I know that is a thing, and that scared the shit out of me. In the book, Anthony and Agu have these powers. So Agu has super strength, and Anthony has a thing very similar to the sonic boom. And the way that he's got famous through rapping is because he lets a little bit of that out. And Adele can put up a force field to stop people from attacking her, which is what she did when she was fighting with her husband. They had those powers before the aliens came, and that's the reason they were chosen, apparently. It didn't explain what those powers were for. At the end, it kind of mentions that they were gifted these superpowers by like the African ancient gods, which is another thing, like randomly, because the aliens have been here, monsters and gods and Loa that have been dormant and sleeping for so long suddenly are all there because these aliens are here. I loved that part. I would love to have another book that was purely on that. If anyone knows of a book that has African gods in it, please let me know because I want to read that. Stat. This is becoming a rant. I'm getting hot and flustered. The bigotry from the Christians is rich. They're all witches, and women are just second class, and I just can't stand that shit. So Adora takes Anthony, Agu, and Aodel back to her house in her lab because she wants to study the alien. Fair enough. I would too if I had the knowledge and resources. When her husband comes down, he automatically thinks that she's sleeping with Anthony and Agu. He has no idea what Aodel is until she shapeshifts in front of him. Then goes rushing to his father, his bishop, who is a horrible man and is all about the ka-ching ka-ching and sucking his congregation dry of their money in the name of God. He's a pig, but obviously God speaks through him, so all of these people think that he's just amazing, and that made me angry. Yeah, so much of this book just... And why, after, like, cool, you got taken by an alien, and then she says she wants to be an ambassador and that they want to live on Earth, and she's like, yeah, come to my house. Like, I would love down the road can come to my house, knock on my door, say, hey, I want to live here. Look, I brought you a toaster oven. Cool, bud, but you're not coming to live in my house. It doesn't make sense. Why would she just let her in? Why would she just let two random dudes that, like, yes, they had a shared experience, but she didn't know them from a bar of soap. And if she did, that's not explained in the book. I didn't think I've been so confused about a book in so long. Half the time, the only thing that I knew was happening was that everyone gone batshit crazy, was killing each other, there's rioting, all of this because people are scared of aliens. Some people are there to embrace, some people are there to kill, kidnap, worship, whatever, but a lot of them end up dead. There's also a character, Faseo, and she is secretary by day, and then by night she is a prostitute, and she thinks that it's this horrible, terrible thing, and she's full of sin, and that she must repent so she can go to heaven. But then she just turns into this zealot and accuses a little boy of being an alien and shoots him in the head. That whole part, the way that it was written, everything was going on around them so fast, and then that happened. Like, I just didn't get the feeling of it was a non-event. Like, everyone dying was just such a non-event. That's what it felt like for majority of the people. They just didn't even care. Like, they just hold up their phones and record the whole thing. In the end, the aliens are there. They're not going anywhere. And it's sort of left on a note of hope or change. The whole theme of the book is change, but it's so violent to get there. There are two things I know about change. One, that it's inevitable, and two, that it can be violent. Not necessarily physically violent, although in this book it was very physically violent. But at the end I just didn't know what the point really was. I feel guilty for not liking the book, but at the same time it just fell way short. I'm usually pretty lenient when I review books because I know how much work has gone into them for the author alone, let alone everyone else. But this just did not do anything for me except for make me angry and leave me confused and thinking what the fuck just happened. So that is my spoiler review of Lagoon by Nadia Corafor. I don't know if I can do any more rant reviews. This is tough. Have you read Lagoon? What did you think of it? Let me know. Will you still be reading it? Because I did see a couple of friends on Goodreads did have this to be read. What is a book of Nadia Corafor's that I should read that you're pretty sure that I'm going to love? Because I will read it. I feel like she needs redemption for this and I'm willing to give it another go. Please let me know which I should read next. I do have Akata Witch on my bookshelf, but I think I'm going to go Binti first. I'm really hot and sweaty. I think I need to do a 5-star review next. But yeah, so that's my review. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.